Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope you all are doing well tonight. This is a U-Tizzle exclusive because I didn't get the time to set up my studio for Rumble. I wouldn't have gotten up till very late in the evening, and given my advanced age, I can't be doing that too much. So anyway, folks, a big day at Davos. Trump used the word discombobulated, and I would say that's fair for a lot of the characters at Davos, and there were some famous names there that were mentioned. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. It was all a walk in the park for Donald J. Trump. He was confident. He was organized and authoritative. He also gave a press conference the night before his trip to Davos, and the reporters that are saying that he is losing his step and all this kind of stuff were probably dragging rear end while Donald Trump was triumphantly marching down the red carpet to go and tell everybody at Davos how things are going to go, whether they like it or not. But anyway, what do? I play videos while people come into the chats to get themselves a cup of coffee or maybe a cold brouhaha or maybe a glass of wine or something, whatever you want. And then what do? We'll be like butter and get on a roll.
Yet that whether we are black or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. We all enjoy salute the same great American flag. And whether a child is born in the urban sprawl of Detroit or the windswept plains of Nebraska, they look up at the same night sky, they fill their heart with the same dreams, and they are infused with the breath of life by the same almighty Creator. So to all Americans in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words. You will never be. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. And your courage and goodness and love will forever guide us along the way.
Despite the turmoil, the federal government says it is not deterred. It is now sending hundreds more federal agents to Minnesota to protect those ICE agents, according to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. And they're blaming both the news media and, quote, agitators for the chaos, claiming journalists are willfully misleading the public about Renee Nicole Good. Officials saying she was dangerous, not just some innocent mother of three, just like they say Kilmar Abrego Garcia isn't just a Maryland father.
Storm's on.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off. Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists. I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. If the deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad
bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country, people that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time. He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies. Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope you all are doing well. And I want to see who came in to see me tonight. Are you ready for the cold? The nation is going to be grabbed by a cold snap. Miss Mendersue, are you ready for the cold, sweetheart? Tammy, how are you? Sherry, Sissy, Robin, nice to see you. Melinda, Cole's here, Todd's here, Randy's here. Oh, my goodness, everybody's rolling in. Rain's here. Let's see. Who else is coming in? Wayne's giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you all give me a thumbs up. It really helps the video get around. Hello, Flannel Cheese. Nice to see you. Rebecca's here. All right, and let's see. Whoa, Brett is here. Nice to see you. And did you all watch Donald J. Trump in Davos? Hi, Mountain, how you doing? I certainly did, and I watched his press conference the night before. Kim, nice to see you. I almost slipped past Kim. I didn't want to do Elva. Nice to see you, Elva. Ha-ha. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Debbie's here. All right. Now we can get going. Pappy Two Bears is here. Oh, okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming by. You know, some people get bored. They don't want to hear me say hi to everybody, and they leave the chats. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with them. It's always good to say hi to people, isn't it? we got a nice group here. We want to keep it that way. So I put on my thumbnail. They call him Daddy. I should have said Big Daddy from Cincinnati. But I could go 3 hours talking about, this is when he was speaking at the UN. And I thought it was a good picture. They call him Daddy. In your job. I'm doing things you ought to be doing. But I see the potential, if you guys can get your act together, maybe by words. And the truth of the matter is, with him setting up the so many other things and showing them what they're worth, what they're doing, how they're behaving, how they're treating us, how they have been treating us, and how all that is coming to an end. Oh, they want to talk about a new world order. Oh, we'll show you a new world order. And that's exactly what Trump is doing. Now, Trump is sitting here coming out with momentous announcements day and night, getting in his suit and tie, standing in front of, yesterday was his anniversary. Took the oath for the second time. And there he is in front of a packed room of reporters. He said, where you all come from? So many of you are here. And he's saying things that are so dramatically important to this country. That's going to save us billions of dollars. The average citizen is going to save thousands of dollars just in drugs for people who are under a doctor's care. And what it's going to do to our deficit, our budget, just the prescription drug thing. Then he talks about how many violent people. He shows pictures of the types of animals that are being lifeblood out of our social services, putting people in danger and fear. They can't even go out and eat dinner without getting held up, robbed, or worse, very worse, much worse. I've got stories to go over. I got about 130 things in my studio. I doubt I'll get to it all, but we'll do our best. But what does the news cover? What did they put up this morning after Trump has two major addresses? I call them addresses. They're supposed to be press conferences, but when he asked, focus on the progress, the momentous changes that are happening. They come up with something.
Do you think the officer will get charged who shot the woman who dropped her child off?
Or that's an exaggeration, but you know how they got their own agenda. And all these things are happening. And this is CNN. This is what they put up today. They put it up. Even as Americans struggle with what they overwhelmingly view as a stagnant economy. Are you out of your damn mind? But anyway, the president seemed to revel Wednesday in how good his policies have been for the wealthy. He made a series of such comments during her and they put President Trump revels in Davos about making the rich even richer. Is that what Trump was talking about? Is that what this is all about? It's a disgrace. I was going to put on my thumbnail, CNN is repugnant. Okay, they're reporting to quote a senator from the 1800s. Their reporting is execrable. Execrable. And not just CNN, it goes for the vast majority. We don't have a fair press. They don't do us one damn bit of good. I wouldn't have been surprised if Trump looked out over that crowd, that packed crowd yesterday and said, what the hell are you all here for? What do we need you for? We don't need you. Yeah, I have to put everything out on Truth Social, or we got to rely with a phone trying to tell people what's going on because we sure in hell don't have an honest press. And then you have these channels, and how many times do I talk about them? And I keep talking about them, and mark my words, we're going to find out about how these places are backed, how these channels grow, how they get an unfair advantage and promotion. But let me see. I can't get that to come on the screen. I got two of them I want to show you as soon as my studio wants to cooperate. Hi, Cole. How you doing? Who'd I miss? Devin. Nice to see you. Tammy. Nice to see you. Misspell your words for me. Your wordy-durs for me, Mountain. Use one for an I. Because I do have a family-oriented broadcast, don't you know? And then we're going to keep it that way, right? So anyway, but this bunch of goobers right here, here's how you have the president overseas dealing with enemies of our nation, enemies of our economy, people that want to pick our pocket, have been picking our pocket for decades, standing up for Americans. And this is what Midas Trash Network comes out with. Global humiliation. MAGA gets uncovered as Trump is humiliated. What the hell were they watching? And you see that bottom line there, YouTube featured. I tell you what, I would go on that channel. You know me, I wouldn't be hostile. I wouldn't just throw out insults. I could handle them. I could handle them if they wanted. As a layman, I probably got more of a grasp of the law as far as constitutionally inspired statutes and things that, expose lawfare and their duplicitous nature. I'd do a face reveal in the flesh. And man, even though I don't like scaring small children, I have to do it. Like Don Lemon did. He scared small children. What's going to happen with Don Lemon? You know what? I said to myself, self, Don Lemon's not going to get arrested this morning. And that was this morning. I said, about 2:00 this morning. Okay. I said, I'm not going to wake up and he'll be arrested. It's not going to happen. You know why, folks? Why should we let that little turd in a punch bowl overshadow Trump's triumph at Davos? Of course, you know what the media would do if their former darling got arrested. A gay black man? What kind of a field day they would have, and Donald Trump's trip would have been just smoke in the wind in the eyes of the media. So why do we want to give him that kind of spotlight? I think we should let him sit home puckered. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that term, but he's sitting home puckered, okay? You could sharpen a pencil in his puckered area. That's some talk from, when you almost get in an accident, like an airplane crash or something like that. Right now. So we could snatch him up. And the more he does video, he digs his hole. Okay? And the more he puckers. So let him pucker. Now here's another one. I am on YouTube quite a bit to try to keep up with the times, right? Who's this guy? Has anyone ever heard of this individual? And he got 2 views in 40. He was live, I guess, or he posted a video 49 minutes ago, if it wasn't live, and got 2 views in 49 minutes. Who does that? You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if that was one of those people that got an email. You do a video with these talking points, we'll pay you $500 or $200 or $800. Or if you take your channel and start doing this and that with it, we'll pay you a flat, what was it, $8,000? $8,000? I don't think this guy was at that stage. But he probably said to himself, oh man, I'll do a video for whatever, a bag of chips. But they pay him more than that. Some guy, have you ever heard of J. Thomas? Don't click on it. Don't give him a view. Don't give him nothing. This is just for illustrious purposes. Okay? Somebody you never heard of. Coming up, Bill Clinton shows how it's done. Tells Comer he's available to testify. Yeah. Well, you just got your ass voted in contempt by the committee, and it's going to the House floor. Bill Clinton. Comer knows what he's doing. And I find it ironic that while Trump was in Davos, this was going on. Historic. It's just a cut down version of the second vote. Both of them, Bill and Hillary, both. And you'll notice how many Democrats voted. They're on the right-hand side of the chart. Republicans on the left.
On the Hillary R. Clinton contempt report. Have all members been recorded who wish to be recorded? Does any member wish to change their vote? Seeing none, the clerk will close the vote and report the vote total.
The ayes are 28. The nays are 15, with 1 voting present.
The ayes have it. Pursuant to this vote, the committee hereby favorably reports and adopts this report recommending that the House of Representatives find Hillary R. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a subpoena duly issued by this committee. We will move the report to the full House. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to House Rule 11.
Did you see how many Democrats voted for it? For it. Well, here's both of them, for Bill and Hillary. Now, Bill, they probably figured, well, since he's a former president, favorably vote reporting. William J. Clinton contempt report as amended. So in the red, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm seeing, well, how many am I seeing? 10? 9. 9 Democrats voted to hold William Jefferson Clinton in contempt. Oh, Miss Crockett didn't even show up. And then you had 2 of them saying, I'm president. They didn't vote at all. And now here's Hillary. What do we have with Hillary? Oh, only 3. Only 3 voted yes. Oh, that's not sexist, is it? That's not being a reverse misogyny, is it? I don't know. But they both passed. And with it being bipartisan, to hold them both in contempt, and then it gets referred to the Justice Department for prosecution. So look for that to come. And I found it so ironic that that vote was occurring while Donald J. Trump was dominating in Davos. That's what I should have put. I should have put dominating in Davos, because that's what he did. That's what he did. He said, here's the chalk line. Here's the chalk. Walk the chalk. That's the way it's going to be. Or we'll remember that you didn't walk the chalk. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Ha ha. Nice to see you. Angela. Well, what do you mean, Devin? I wore long sleeve shirts with a short sleeve over it. Because, baby, it's cold outside. So you got to dress in layers, man. You got to I've had long sleeve shirts and I put a short sleeve right over it. Yeah, buddy. Keep your chest warm. And your head. Wear a hat. If you don't wear a hat, you got rocks in your head, because you lose so much heat out of your head. I'd leave the house without a hat. My mom would put one upside my head. Ask me just like Trump, are you stupid? Oh, I'm sorry. Put my hat on. Bad Hagen, all you. Let's see it. TDS. Let's see. What's Bad Hagen doing? Nice to meet you. Please have a civil conversation while you're here. Make some friends. And remember, there's 2 sides to every pancake. Did you ever eat pancakes and not look at both sides? I wonder where the TDS. Where you learn to spell, but FARTS. Okay. But I like your profile pic of Donald J. Trump. So anyway, opposing views are welcome. Yeah, long johns, got that right, with shorts. That's got to be Alaska clothes. I've never wore long johns with shorts. But I'm, if that's what I had, that's what I'll wear. So anyway, let me get to some of these clips. I got clips from Trump, from his presser the night before and his trip to Davos. And I said, man, he's got to be tired. But no, he plowed right forward with it. He plowed right forward with it. I'm just looking through the chats, see if I missed anybody. I don't believe I have. If I have, I apologize. So anyway, I want to show y'all. Let's have a little levity, a little fun. Here's a clip. I've seen clips from this lady, and I don't play them that much. A lot of you know who she is. Her name escapes me, but she's pretty famous. But I want to show you this, and then a clip of the lady she's talking about.
Did you see the Welsh health ambassador? Welsh. Looks like my hamster when faced with a bag of peanuts in an impending famine. Cheeks so big, they're squished up so her eyes can't open. As healthy as cancer.
The Welsh health minister. And who is she talking about? This delicate flower right here. Wait a minute. I'll put her up in a second. As soon as my studio wants to behave, I'll put it up. A hamster with a bag of peanuts before a famine. And she used air quotes to say confusion. I thought she was Irish, but here's the Welsh Minister of Health.
A person who is from an ethnic minority background. Actually taboo to, and it's quite a sensitive topic to talk about. So if you're not being able to learn about these things through the medium of school, then where do you learn? And I wish when I was in school we were, they teach us in Welsh back about how to apply for a bank account and how to get a job. But what about things like how to check if do a breast exam? How do I know if signs of cervical cancer, screenings, when am I supposed to get those? The things that are going to prolong my life, so why don't we teach these things before we teach, how to get a job? Because if I'm not living long enough, how am I going to get?
They'll have to bury you in a piano case. What are you talking about? Being healthy. But anyway, so let me go, let me see what's going on. Oh, remember this. They're not giving up, folks. Dealings in Virginia. Mickey Sherrill. They're pushing in other areas too. Virginia did not gain by any means, but ended up with a Democrat. Now here, Mickey Sherrill, the former helicopter pilot who cast her November election in New Jersey as a victory over President Donald Trump, was inaugurated. Oh my God, there she is. So they're not giving up. New Jersey, and here is where, let me find her. The one in Virginia, I got a picture of her in case you forgot what she looks like. Spam burger. Where is she at? Here she is. Remember her? Right there. Remember this hoax? The J and then 6 hoax, where they put on that big show so they didn't have to do a 10-day delay to investigate the objections about the election. Yeah, that's what we got to deal with. And here you have another one. Senior Navy official removed from her post by Secretary Pete Hegseth announced she's decided to run for Congress. What did she do that got her kicked out? Navy Admiral removed by Pete Hegseth announces run for Congress. See? They're not giving up. But I'll tell you something. They're chalk. Here you got Scott Bessent. He showed up in Davos. Guess who else showed up in Davos? Gavin Newsom. Guess who Gavin Newsom was with? I'll give you all a chance to answer that before I play a video. Scott Bessent is going to California. Okay? And if these people win their positions and these people have just been sworn into their positions, they're going to be watched like a damn hawk. Who do you think Gavin Newsom was with in Davos? Let me see if I can find his. While you all look that up, while you all cogitate on that, let me see if I can find him. Huh. Well, I have Scott Bessent is going to California to raise the devil, to go through things, to go through everybody's business. I'll find that in a minute. While y'all think about it, I'm going to put up this one. Guess where he's going? He's personally going to Minnesota. So you have the head of the Treasury Department going to California, and you have the Vice President of the United States going to Minnesota. So anyway, I'll go ahead and play J.D. Vance. He's going to appoint a special assistant DA, or Attorney General, I'm sorry.
Here's the simple fact here. Willing to afford childcare in the United States of America, there are programs that we have to make it easier for your kids to get in daycare, for your kids to get in preschool. Those programs should go to American citizens, not be defrauded by Somali immigrants and others. Make it hard for you to get the access to the resources you need. But number two, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country to fleece. Actually activated a major interagency task force to make it possible to get to the heart of this fraud. We have Department of Agriculture resources that are focused on SNAP fraud so that people who need food benefits can get them, but illegal aliens and other fraudsters don't. We have over 1,500 subpoenas that the Department of Justice has issued to get to the heart of the fraud ring. We've done almost 100 indictments, mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And of course, we're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis, it's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible, is we are creating a new Assistant Attorney General position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Now, of course, that person's efforts will start and focus primarily in Minnesota, but it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, the American people have been defrauded in a very nationwide way.
A very nationwide way we've been defrauded. So that's two states where we got top cabinet member and the vice president going down there. And yes, I see that you can't get one over on the chats, right? Because we had Bruce figured it out. How you doing? Baby Soros, Angela got it. Linda got it. Yeah. Little Soros, little George, Debbie said. So here's Scott Bessent right to Gavin Newsom's face. He was in Davos, and he had a little something to say to Gavin Newsom. Let me center that up. Okay, folks. And you know what? I was answering about clips, doing clips of my videos. I said, I saw people saying, I don't have a scissors in my clip, in my toolbar for my video. Well, you have to wait for the video to be processed by YouTube. After the video is processed, you slide the thumbs up bar over to the left, and you'll see a little pair of scissors. And it'll show you right how to get clips of my video. The video has to process, and then once it processes, the chats will show up and the scissors will show up. If you want to do a clip, just remember that. Here you go. Scott Bassett calling out the creepo.
I think it's very, very ironic that Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if you need any further clarification.
Right to his face. And little Alex, yes, right to your face too. Yeah, I love it too. But anyway, there's 2 points that Trump said, both at his evening press conference or afternoon press conference and when he was speaking in Davos. He said in no uncertain terms, did you all hear it when he said the election was stolen and people are going to go to jail over it? How many of you all heard that? Report it. The press doesn't report it. I want to play some clips from his little press conference last night. I'm not sure what the topic is till I play it. Let's see what this is about, and then we'll talk about it. Let's see. Why the hell do we need the press when they don't show this crap? All they do is act like ICE is picking up hard-working immigrants and they're picking on people of color.
People, vicious, many of them murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more? Because people don't know. Do you want to live with these people? International murder. These are people that are if they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, and the countries respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them all in. If you didn't have open border policies of Biden, none of this, all of the time that we spend talking about Minnesota and everything else, most of them are coming from out of the country. And it's been caused by a previous administration. Look at this, one after one. Boy, these are rough characters. These are all criminal, illegal aliens that, in many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords, drug dealers, they're the mentally insane. Some of them who are brutal killers. They're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane. These are just in Minnesota and California. It's worse. In other states, it's worse. No, Minnesota, the crime is incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is because of the agitators and insurrectionists, whatever you want.
Troublemakers, yeah. Yeah, Debbie heard it. You could have heard a pin drop. They didn't say a word and they didn't do a follow-up question. I'll have to get the DAVOS clip. The DAVOS clip. Let me play this one. This is now. Remember, he's in a matter of hours. He's going to be getting on a plane, going all the way to Davos, and giving the biggest speech of his presidency this second term to the entire world. But can you imagine Joe Biden?
No.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Kara Castanova from Lindell TV. And you spoke earlier about the 2020 election. Now that Maduro is in U.S. custody and he was criminally charged, has any more information emerged that you could share with us regarding tampering with the 2020 election? And would you consider speaking to Maduro personally in prison the 2020 election?
No, I don't think I would be doing that. I think my lawyers would be very unhappy if I did. Yeah, they've learned some things. Please.
What happens to the tariff threat to Greenland if the Supreme Court comes out and rules against you on the tariffs? And
did you hear what he said? She asked specifically about Venezuelan interference in the 2020 election. And he said his lawyers learned some things. I agree, Devin. Yeah, I've said there's going to be a purge. Now, y'all probably we're at after the live stream at 41 minutes, and listen to that exchange again. And he even said more things that were indicative that there's going to be a price to pay for that stolen election. Here.
And we jeopardize their case. When we send them back, and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way, it was a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly. We caught him. So I just want you to know that it's a terrible thing. Here's
It's a rigged election, and we caught him. In Davos, he said people will go to jail for it. And I think he was looking at Alex Soros. I could be wrong. Hi, Jack. How you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Here's Trump getting ready to go. He's in West Palm Beach. I'm not sure. Maybe this is when he came to give his press conference. I'm not sure.
They can't protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there. And, because that doesn't give you title to property. So we'll be talking about it with the various people.
The president also says he spoke with Secretary General to finding a way forward on Greenland. Trump has threatened European countries with additional tariffs if they refuse to support him on this. The Danes have said they're willing to work with the U.S. on reinforcing to take territory from an allied nation could put the entire NATO alliance at risk. The president is also pushing countries to join his Board of Peace to resolve conflicts and rebuild Gaza and then perhaps other war-torn areas.
Do you have any response to President Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace?
Oh, did he say that? Well, nobody wants it because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right.
Did you invite President Putin to join the...
Yes, he's one of the people. These are world leaders. And the answer is yes.
The president has threatened France with 200% tariffs on wine. As a result, the critics of the Board of Peace said it would undermine the work of the United Nations. Back to you.
Yep, that's what's causing so much stress. Thanks so much, Rich. Appreciate it.
So Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, he's the first sitting House Speaker to address British Parliament. It happened this morning while we were getting ready for our show because of the time difference. He was great. And the U.S. is celebrating 250 years of independence. Here is a montage of some of the highlights of his speech this morning while you were probably sleeping.
We're marshaling every resource we have to make America safer and stronger and more prosperous than ever before. And I'm very bullish on the prospects of doing that. We must do this because we know those hostile to the West and to our shared values are engaging in increasingly sophisticated forms of subversion and espionage. We see China, Russia, and Iran. The simple truth is that freedom cannot survive if we outsource our responsibility as citizens. And this is a fact that remains true at a national level. We cannot fail in our responsibility to protect our people and their security. We see the UK and Europe stepping up as faithful partners here. And I want to declare that today. Whether it's NATO's investment in defense, which we applaud, or the AUKUS alliance deepening its cooperation in submarines and undersea defense, our partnership is proving that nations can prioritize their individual interests responsibly and at the same time make strides towards strengthening alliances and preserving the freedom and sovereignty of our nation states. And our current U.S. ambassador to the UK, Warren Stevens, who sits here up here with me today, said it recently very well. He said, "America first does not mean and will never mean America alone." History teaches us we can never go down the road of censoring and silencing unpopular opinions because liberty is kept alive in the free marketplace of ideas. History further teaches us that the best solution to the problem of free speech is always more speech.
So, how many of you knew that Mike Johnson went over to talk to Parliament in England, in the UK? What the hell do we need news services for? They're not letting people know what the hell is going on. And you heard Mike Johnson talk about subversion and espionage. Government. And you also heard him talking about these other nations that are suppressing the free speech of their people. And not a peep, not a report, nothing. Speaking of subversion, here's this creep. Why arrest this creep today? Why arrest him and take the spotlight off of Trump in Davos? His time is coming. Now, he may be too... Don Lemon's not crazy, and he knows what's coming. Don Lemon's got to think about another thing, too. Everybody in that church can have a civil action against him and sue his eyeballs out of his head. But anyway, here's the lunatic who I believe I heard say he was a member of Antifa. Write it down. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just all the emaciated-looking, bearded lunatics look alike. I don't know.
You think your little death threats are going to intimidate me? You know how many fucking times I should have been dead? I'm a fucking combat infantry veteran. I'm lucky I fucking made it home. My life has been hard. You can't scare me. You can't fucking intimidate me. And even if you do come for me, and even if you do fucking kill me, as Fred Hampton said, you can kill the revolutionary, but not the revolution. All power to the people. I will not be intimidated by you fucking Nazis. Fuck you.
Nah, I wouldn't want to do anything to you. I want to see you have to sit in a courtroom, buddy. I want to see you go to jail. Why would I want to take away that pleasure? Here's where he's, is this where he had some, oh, here we go. Here he is. We'll see how much he talks, runs his mouth when he's in court.
There's no base for these charges. I did not block them from, their service. They welcomed us in. They never asked us to leave. The police never came in and removed us. So we didn't stop their service. In fact, people were still praying the entire time. The music was still playing the entire time. So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? Where are you? You drink your coffee. You got your to stand for your Somali and Latino communities. I'm not going to comment. You have no comment. Exactly. Renee Good. Renee Good. Freedom. We have a duty to We must love and support one another.
Now, who was somebody in Congress was saying it should be a right. You know what they're saying? How many of y'all heard this weird stuff? The number one fantasy, the number one, I guess, white liberal women is romance with an ICE officer. How many of y'all heard that? Detained by desire. Somebody, I'm telling you, that there's a real psychological issue with these people. I mean, big time. Here we go. They serve subpoenas. They have been served. Breaking, federal prosecutors issued 6 grand jury subpoenas Tuesday to top Minnesota officials, including Governor Tim Walz. Keith Ellison, that's the one who said people should have a right. I think I got a clip of him saying that. People have the right to go in churches and exercise their free speech. So according to him, I believe it was him, you can go in a church and just do what these people did, and there's nothing wrong with it. He's out of his mind. But anyway, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, as part of an investigation into whether state and local leaders obstructed federal immigration enforcement during the Minneapolis-St. Paul enforcement operations or whatever. Here he is. Tim's looking a little worried. A little worried. And you know what? Some other bones might come out of that closet. I'm just saying. A lot of bones. A lot of bones in these closets. Oh, Wall Street Maeve said, just finished my taxes. I owe Somalia $4,300. You might want to get a clip of this, a screenshot, which is different than a clip, and put it on your Meta page. Yeah, the pastor asked him to leave. Well, yeah, I'd like to have a conversation with him too. But I'd rather see him go through, let me tell you, the process a lot of times is the punishment, as they say. The process is the punishment. I had a very good telephone call with Mark Rutte, Secretary General of the NATO, concerning Greenland. I agreed to immediately. I expressed to everyone very plainly, Greenland is imperative for national and world security. There can be no going back. On that, everyone agrees. If the United States of America is the most powerful country anywhere in the globe, by far, much of the reason for this is the rebuilding of our military during my first term, which rebuilding continues at an even more expedited pace. We are the only power that can ensure peace throughout the world. And it is done quite simply through strength, President Donald J. Trump. So he set the tone hours before his departure. He let him know what was coming. I was going to use this picture for a thumbnail, but a lot of other people were using it. Somebody did a meme when Trump had all the world leaders around his desk. Remember that? They were sitting in the hallway, like waiting for the principal's office. Remember that all those pictures are frozen away when my phone was disabled. So anyway, I'll find a way to unlock that. But anyway, there's a map showing Canada and Greenland with the stars and stripes. So anyway, I'm going to keep that picture. I like it. And here's what some people put up for when they put those, we're going to get our swords out of the mud. We're Vikings. Remember when I played that video, AI video? This woman, Taya, put up. She's traveling, flying. Globalism is the absurd belief that terrorists in Morocco who saw off heads and the Scandinavian backpackers to whom those heads belonged share some sort of universal value system that will allow them to unite under a single system of governance. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying you ain't all that, Scandinavia. You already got conquered one time. Before he left for Davos. And there you see Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance. Right behind him, Greenland. Or as they say, Greenland. There you go. For a clip, a screenshot, if you want to put that on your meta page. U.S. territory established 2026. Trump doesn't put these up for nothing. It was a... You want to talk about an aggravating little brat. He's in 2 clips, but I want to play this one for you. I don't know who this idiot is, but look at him sitting there all smug. I guess he's, what is that kid's name? Harry Sisson? He's one of those types, but they quit having Harry Sisson because he really aggravates people. So they got a new, fresh-faced, smart-aleck liberal, but Scott Jennings didn't put up with him.
I recognize you haven't reviewed all the material
anymore.
But
you have the diverse, the percentage.
Who are you to tell me what I can and can't? I've never met you, brother. Listen, I can say whatever I want. They're illegal aliens, and that's what the law calls them, illegal aliens. That's what I'm going to call them.
Right. Listen, you can't say illegals anymore because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And How
are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegal.
No, I want to know why he gets to instruct
You're
my
changing the topic.
Hang on.
I want to know.
You're making a point about people being arrested. I understand that your job is predicated on just getting increasingly more demented every single week and that the audience comes back to see if perhaps
Make your point.
My point is that you're saying the word illegals, but you don't even really know what's happening. Or actually, I think you do, and you're doing this on purpose. But
yes,
the truth
because
is,
I want the law enforced.
They are not just targeting illegal immigrants. They are targeting natural-born U.S. citizens.
They are not.
That is a fact. You cannot deny that. I mean, you can on national television.
They are
deny
not.
facts all the time.
They
You've
are
done it
not.
a couple times in this very episode.
I still want to know how you're going to enforce your language edicts on me.
We'll take that up.
How are we going to enforce it?
We're going to take that up in the break.
You know, what an annoying little... He can't... I want to show you part of the reason this kid is acting the way he is. We had, I don't know how many schools. Now, I didn't get a video clip of it, but how many schools let their kids out and gave them these signs? Here you go. Here's another one. I showed you clips of them marching down the street. In Washington State, walk out of school to protest ICE. So now Democrats are fomenting truancy. And there they are, all smiles and happy. They got the day out of school. They get to go out and raise hell. And they chant crap like stolen land, treasonous narratives. I'm going to go ahead and say it. These teachers are teaching children treasonous false narratives libelous, false narratives. And then you get them shaving the 3 hairs off their face, putting on a suit, and trying to stand up to somebody like Scott Jennings with a head full of garbage. I don't know if you all have any speedways in your area. Do you all have any speedways? That's a gas station of some sort. Well, here they are refusing Border Patrol Chief Bovino service. They stop off, they get some sodas or what, a sandwich or whatever, when he uses a can or whatever. But here, Speedway needs to, I'm sure they're going to hear something about this.
Do you work here? Do you work here? Yeah. You guys kicked him out? Yeah, what's your opinion on it? Why'd you kick him out? Because I wanted to. Okay. We don't support ICE, and nobody here does. Neither do I. And so he's not allowed service here. Nope. We don't support ICE. Commander Bovino, is it legal to deny service to federal agents?
That little dreadlocked runt is sitting there doing what he did, not allowing federal agents, running them off the property. What the hell is he even doing with a job with that appearance and that attitude? But that's what they're being taught in schools. Here's Ted Lieu. How many of y'all know about Ted Lieu? I said a long time ago, he really nauseates me. He sits there with trying to talk intelligent, and he's nothing but a damn Marxist. And here he is talking about what he's going to do, threatening federal agents with prosecution for 2028.
American people have the First Amendment right to observe ICE operations. The American people have the First Amendment right to peacefully photograph ICE operations. The American people have the First Amendment right to peacefully film and live stream ICE operations. Donald Trump has sent ICE across the country to try to intimidate people and communities in various states, and the people of Minnesota said, no, we're not going to take it. We will not yield. We will not bend the knee. And every time ICE engages in what appears to be abuse, more Minnesotans show up. Every time ICE and Border Patrol engage in what appear to be unlawful actions, more Minnesotans show up and observe, film, and live stream ICE. And this is so important because the evidence that is being gathered can be used in future years. And while this administration might not prosecute ICE officers or Border Patrol officers for violating federal law, a future administration can do so. The statute of limitations for most federal crimes is 5.
Let's see what kind of bones fall out of his closet. What kind of bones are going to fall out of your closet, Ted Lieu? So I'm going to play now some clips. Oh, here you go. Here's something else to put on your meta page. Behold, Ted Lieu, the warmth of collectivism. There you go. That's probably from the Warsaw Ghetto photograph. It might be AI. Who the hell knows? I tell you, a lot of these people going into comments, they're AI-generated comments, but I'm sure many of you figured that out by now. Way ahead of me. Way ahead of me. But anyway, if you want to see the rest of this story, I'll just put this up. Bill Gates bought 1.1 million shares from Christina Guile. 1.1 million shares of eventual Pfizer vaccine before COVID hit and sold the stock for $242 million profit 2 years later, RFK Jr. says. The same week, Bill Gates, who was overseeing the Event 201 simulation, bought 1.1 million shares of BioNTech, that vaccine, which later became the Pfizer vaccine. He then sold almost all that stock 2 years later at a $242 million profit. And a week after that, he announced the vaccine didn't work. Ain't that something? And that's on record at the highest levels of government. You think Bill Gates might be a little puckered? So anyway, here's Trump. Let's see what this clip is. This might be the one. I don't know. Let's see what he says. Davos.
They're only good because of us. And there's so many other examples. I mean, us and probably other places, but a majority of the money they make is because of us, because we never charged them anything. So they come in, they sell their watches, no tariffs, no nothing. They walk away. They $1 billion.
He's talking about the Swiss. $41 billion. He said the woman who's prime minister, he didn't like her.
On just us. So I said, no, we can't do that. So I'm going to bring it up. I still would have a deficit pretty substantial, but I brought it up to 30%. And I guess Prime Minister, I don't think President, I think Prime Minister called a woman, and she was very repetitive. She said, no, 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 you cannot do that, 30%. You cannot do that. We are a small, small country. I said, yeah, but you have a big, big deficit. You may be small, but you have a bigger deficit than big countries. He said, no, 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 please, you cannot do it. Kept saying the same thing over and over. We are a small country. I said, but you're a big country in terms of, and she just rubbed me the wrong way, I'll be honest with you. Appreciate it. Do not do this. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I made it 39%. And then all hell really broke out. And I was paid visits by everybody. Rolex came to see me. They all came to see me. But I realized, and I reduced it, because I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt them. And we brought it down to a, lower level. Doesn't mean it's not going up. But we brought it down to a lower level. But they pay now, tariff. But I realized that we have many places like that where they're making a fortune because of the United States. Without the United States, they wouldn't be making anything. Think of it. Switzerland made $41 billion on us. And as she said, it's a small place. And I realized with that, I don't know, because she was so aggressive. And I realized in that conversation that the United States is keeping the whole world afloat. Many places, I could give you 6, 7 places just in the people in this little area. I know every one of them. They're looking down. They don't want to see me, and they don't want to stare me in the eyes. But they're taking advantage.
They're taking advantage of us, and we're keeping being aggressive and nasty, talking to him like he's a school child. No, 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 you can't do this. That's the end of the story. You cannot do this. That's it. Don't do it. Yeah, okay. And then he nailed her between the eyes with more tariffs. So, yeah, we can do it. But anyway, we are keeping the world afloat. We've been keeping the world afloat. Now they got to start helping out. But anyway, here's some more.
Act into law. Now Congress is working very hard on crypto market structure legislation, Bitcoin, all of them, which I hope to sign very soon, unlocking new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom. And I did it for 2 reasons. Number one, I thought it was politically good, and it was. I got tremendous political support. But more importantly, China wanted that market too. It's just like they want the AI. And we've got that market, I think, pretty well locked up. If I didn't do it, Biden was totally against it until before the election when they realized they loved it very much, but it was too late. They blew it. But it is politically popular, but it's much more importantly, we have to make it so that China doesn't get the hold of it. And once they have that hold, we're not going to be able to get it back. So I'm honored to have done it. Finally, I've instructed government-backed institutions to purchase up to $200 billion in mortgage bonds to bring down interest rates. And I'll be announcing a new Fed chairman in the not-too-distant future. I think he'll do a very good job. See, I gave away some of it. He did give that away. So we have something, got something, but somebody that's very respected. They're all respected. They're all great. Everyone that I interviewed is great. Everyone could do, I think, a fantastic job. Problem is they change once they get the job. They do. You know, they're saying everything I want to hear, and then they get the job. They're locked in for 6 years. They get the job, and all of a sudden, let's raise rates a little bit. I call them, sir, we'd rather not talk about this. It's amazing how people change once they have the job, but it's too bad. Sort of disloyalty, but they got to do what they think is right. We have a terrible chairman right now. Jerome, too late Powell. He's always too late. And
so he's going. Jerome Powell's going out the door. The Lisa Cook thing is before the Supreme Court. And what's her name? Ketanji Brown Jackson made an idiot of herself again. Well, did she really get notice from the president? Because all he did was put a post on Truth Social. This is a Supreme Court justice. Trump has spent millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to set up Truth Social because he got canceled on other platforms by the deep state. Everybody and their brother knows that there are official notices from the President of the United States on Truth Social. And she said, well, Lisa Cook didn't get good enough because she might not be subscribed to Truth Social. Well, if your job depends on what the President of the United States thinks of you, maybe you better subscribe, you nitwit. But anyway, he also brought up crypto. I don't know how many of you all are involved or know anything about crypto. I know nothing about it. I don't have a crypto wallet. And I'm not broadcasting on Rumble today because of time constraints. But a couple of weeks ago, or about 10 days ago, I got a notice about setting up a crypto wallet for Rumble. For, I guess, Rumble to give me whatever, I think it's like a nickel a video or whatever. It really that low. I mean, maybe a dime, and put it in crypto. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Email and what? It's not a scam. It's official from Rumble. I don't think so I didn't respond to the notice. My views on Rumble went down 70%. 70%. So, you know, I don't want to get involved in it myself. How many of you all are involved in crypto? I mean, am I being too paranoid? But I don't, my instinct is not to not get involved with it. But anyway, here we go again.
Because presidents allowed them to get away with it, it became very tough. So when I called up Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened? But I watched him sort of be tough. But he was at $10 for a pill. And I said, Emmanuel, and I have all the big pharmaceutical companies are in total agreement. It wasn't easy, but
keep your money under the mattress. Yeah, I'm old school, you know. And you know, I don't want to get go the way of the buggy whip myself. But I just, you know, well, you got to give them a bunch of personal information and stuff like that. And it's really not enough to fool with. It's not enough to fool with. And I appreciate everybody on Rumble. and I hope they give me thumbs ups, and I hope they subscribe. But it is basically to preserve my videos because, as you all know, they've wiped out hundreds of my videos for nothing on Utizzle, and that at least preserves them. But anyway, here we go again.
A piece of land, and we didn't. So they have a choice. You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember. A strong and secure America means a strong NATO, and that's one reason why I'm working every day to ensure our military is very powerful, our borders are very strong, and above all, our economy is strong because national security requires economic security and economic prosperity, and we have the greatest. Allies destroyed our economy and gave us perhaps the worst inflation in America.
Buried in the backyard. It would look like you got gophers in your backyard. But anyway, he was talking about Greenland. You know, you either say yes, or if you say no, we're going to remember. So they can take that for whatever it's worth. They're talking about Denmark. Denmark, not Greenland, Denmark. So anyway, here we go again. Let's see what he's talking about here.
NATO, and I've until the last few days when I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They called me daddy, right? Last time. A very smart man said, he's our daddy. He's running it. I was like,
that's why I decided to do my thumbnail. They called me daddy. So they did. They called him daddy. So anyway, here's the next one. What's this one about? Let's see. I have to find the moment where he said that the people who cheated in shocked that the clip. And I'm surprised I haven't heard any creators talking about Trump making that definitive statement. Have you all heard another person broadcasting that is quoting Donald Trump as saying, the people that rigged the 2020 election are going to go to jail? Have you heard anybody else say it? I know I heard it.
built. We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Yeah, Canada. They're only surviving because of us, is what Trump was saying. He told Mark, put it that way. Hi, Roland. Nice to see you. Sparky, you lose your passwords. Oh, my word. Yeah. With crypto. Like somebody said earlier in the chats, you like the crinkle of the money and the jingle in your pocket. Hi, Jack. How you doing? Santa Surfer. Jail. Yeah, I used to watch her all the time. You remember when she was getting threats? Santa Surfing? And she quit posting for a while because she was getting threats.
So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one. Got them in our sights, press the trigger, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm going to play. I got another clip where he repeats that about the weapons. They were discombobulated. I made a shorter clip I was going to play in my intro, but back it up what he's saying. He's with his firm talk. And we got what it takes to back it up if we ever have to. Here's another clip. Let's see. Hear it better.
More clear than what's currently going on with Greenland. Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. To be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled. We did it. We felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory, and hold it we did at great cost and expense. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened.
Yeah, he's bringing up the theme that I talked about the other day, that Denmark did fall to Germany very quickly, and they were occupied by Germany. King Christian X used to ride his horse in protest every day. The only place they didn't, and they did that for diplomatic reasons, but they did just what Trump said, a 6-hour defense, and then Denmark fell. The only way they could preserve Greenland or protect Greenland was because of the U.S. military. And we're putting all the billions of dollars in bases for nothing. For them to tell us what to do. And I'll tell you something, when they sent all those troops, all these different countries, Sweden has moved their troops out. I'll put up a post about that in a minute. Germany got theirs out in a commercial flight, because I'll bet dollars to donuts. There is a treaty that says if you have any foreign military come besides the U.S. or Greenland, you damn well better let us know. And they did not let us know. That's why they've gotten kicked out so quickly, because Trump ain't playing with them. Trump's not playing with them, and he's just being firm. Yeah, Kim, when the grid goes down, cash will rule. Cash was always king. Well, yeah, blockchain, we can't forget about that. blockchain will end the trafficking and dark web stuff. I don't know. They sit there and sell. Remember, the tricks they use, like Wayfair cabinets. Wayfair cabinets that they named after a particular young person, and then charge like $10,000 for a cabinet that should cost $100. So you know what they're really getting. So how do you put a stop to that? Anyway, I put a link for Buy Me a Coffee earlier in the broadcast, and I forgot what the minute mark was. I think it was around an hour, 10 minutes. About 15 minutes ago, I forgot to say anything about it. But I want to thank everybody who's helped me on Buy Me a Coffee this week. Mike and Bev, as always, went there a couple of times. Pow! And Roland went by. Boom! And Wayne, pow! And Colette, boom, boom, boom. So I thank you all for going by Buy Me a Coffee. And I'll try to put another link in a little bit. But yeah, the link works after the live stream. If anybody is watching and enjoying this commercial-free broadcast, because this is a totally viewer-supported channel, and I do appreciate your assistance. The great and powerful Donald J. Trump, as Andrew Branca often describes him. The attorney Andrew Branca.
Me. Instead of raising taxes on domestic producers, we're lowering them and raising tariffs on foreign nations to pay for the damage that they've caused. In 12 months, we have removed over 270,000 bureaucrats from the federal payrolls. Nobody thought that was coming, but we had no choice. To make a country great, you can't have all federal jobs. We've cut federal spending by $100 billion and slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in the single year. It's going to go down quite a bit more from that, driving inflation way down from the record highs of the Biden administration. Every month, they went up and up and up. I promised to cut 10 old regulations for every single new regulation. But instead, I've cut, actually, till this point, 129 regulations for every one new regulation approved. So every time they come in with a new regulation. Tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. We also provided 100% expensing. That's the one they like. And bonus depreciation for all new equipment and capital investments to help companies expand and shift production to America. They are so in love with that. They build a plant, they're able to deduct it immediately, the whole thing, rather than waiting 38 to 41 years in the old days. This is a miracle taking place. Nobody thought it would ever be done by any country, but it's done by us. Was what made my first term the most successful 4-year term that we've ever had from a financial standpoint. And now we've upped it. This is a 10-year program, not a 1-year program. But you're allowed to deduct everything in 1 year. It used to be 38 to 41 years. With tariffs, we've radically reduced our ballooning trade deficit, which was the largest in world history. We were losing more than $1 trillion every single year. And it was just wasted. It was going to waste. But in 1 year, I slashed our monthly trade deficit by a staggering 77%. And all of this with no inflation, something everyone said could not be done. There were a couple of brilliant people that actually thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was doing the right thing. Now they all think I'm doing the right thing because they can't believe the numbers.
Yeah, over 250,000 dead weight jobs, dead weight, that he trimmed away, and inflation did not go up. They don't report that. Stropey, I'm seeing Stropey in the chats, and he passed away. I didn't watch him very much. They say you say he's from Australia. He passed away. We lost a lot of YouTubers over the years, a lot of truthers. Well, I'll have to make a list of how many just. Like I say, it's precious time. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how long we're going to be around. I appreciate that, Gary. That's why I call you chairman of the board. Yes, you have done your part quite a bit. You've been a huge help. And yeah, God's gifts are coming. You know, hey, my clock might get punched. Nobody knows. None of us know our time and hour. So Stropey passed away. He's from Australia. But, you know, hopefully they won't take his channel down. You can at least go back and go over some things that interested you with his program. I'm just looking through the chats. Okay, let's see. Here is one. Oh, I wanted to play this at the beginning. Here is Trump when he started to head off to Davos. And I was thinking about, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but J.D. Vance's Secret Service detail. You all heard about that. With, is it where they do these interviews with people? They set it up like it's a date. So, yeah, they had a Secret Service agent spilling the beans on J.D. Vance's plans and stuff. I think about that. Can we trust this Secret Service? But here's Donald Trump heading to, on his way to Davos. You know, he's very well surrounded. I was worried because, you know, what that one woman, was it Vanderleen or whatever her name is, was saying, we know what we must do with the problem of Trump. We just need to do it. What was she talking about? So I was worried about Trump, but I saw all the Secret Service around him, and then I'm worried about, well, it was one of those traitors like the one that was messing things up for J.D. Vance. Look at the big red carpet they rolled out for him. But you see one guy in the background, he is essentially walking up totally by himself, and I think that is a statement. He's showing that he has no concerns, no fears. He's walking in as a solitary figure straight into the maw of the deep state. And happens to that man. Some stuff's. Yeah, it's emotional time. I hope things turn out well for you, my friend. I certainly do. Here is, I think they got earbuds. I think they got earbuds. When they say something stupid, somebody corrects them in their earbud. Minutes later.
First is a direct answer to the question of this panel, can Europe defend itself? My answer is unequivocally yes.
with them for these key elements. You've said earlier that Europe can defend itself without the Americans.
So that's not a quote.
More or less. More or less. We'll go back to the transcript.
Stick to the left on this one, yeah.
More or less. More or less.
I love journalists.
Unequivocally yes, and now he's saying, oh, that's not a direct quote 11 minutes later. How many of you all heard this out of the blue? I hadn't got any details yet, but Bill O'Reilly announces illness, quote, will fight the good fight. How many of you all heard that Bill O'Reilly has got a challenge ahead of him? And I don't know if it's, what the challenge is. But it was enough to where they made an announcement. Serious enough. It's not like the flu. So we'll keep Bill O'Reilly in our thoughts. And as I said, people have a lot of money, they got a lot of connections, they got a lot of power, but it can come any time, okay? The battle. Well, like with Scott Adams. But anyway, this was on Russian television. Starmer talking smack in Parliament, I guess after Mike Johnson.
But I do want to be clear with the House. I will not yield, Britain will not yield on our principles and values about the future of Greenland under threats of tariffs. And that is my clear position.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Remember Munich. You guys folded like a cheap chair. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Con! I gotta get that clip. Sparky saying, people with, millions of dollars, high profile people. I mean, Bill O'Reilly's not exactly broke, Here we are. Let's see some of these reports. The issue of Greenland in the U.S. does not concern Russia. This is a statement from the Russian State Department. This is from Putin himself. Greenland is worth 200 to 250 million if we compare it with the price of purchasing Alaska. Denmark has always treated. That's from Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that Moscow is ready to send $1 billion from frozen Russian assets to the Peace Council Fund, to which he was invited by Donald J. Trump. Well, who's going to let that money go? Is it going to be the French? No, they're giving us a hard time. I don't know why my studio doesn't want to respond sometimes. Here we have Trump confirmed that he sent an invitation to Putin to the Peace Council. And we know the response. Macron will reject Trump's invitation to join the Peace Council. In the European Union, they are considering a new military alliance with Ukraine, but without the participation of the USA, reports Politico. Very interesting posturing going on. Oh, so you're going to deal with Ukraine without the U.S.? And then what? Start a war? Thin out your native population some more? like Donald Trump brought up the Spanish flu after World War I. How many tens of millions of people, he said 100 million, lost to the Spanish flu. That was on top of combat losses. European countries should stop flattering U.S. President Donald Trump in the dispute over ownership of Greenland. It's not working. They need to show strength, noted Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen in an interview with Reuters. Yeah, on the sidelines of the Davos Forum. Macron from France. We are entering a world without rules. That sounds like they're a little discombobulated to me. Her native language, there she is. The head of the European diplomacy, Kaja Kallas, like Maria Callas. No country has the right to seize the territory of another country. Not in Ukraine, not in Greenland, nor anywhere else in the world. How the hell do you think civilization was spread, you ninny? What country are you from? I guarantee you had colonies and probably still do. The dispute over Greenland disrupted the signing of an $800 billion aid package for Ukraine, according to the Financial Times. Well, whose problem is that? Settled the dispute because it's holding up $800 billion. The whole country, this is Donald Trump. He was asked about Iran. What would happen if Iran continues to mock and threaten the American president? The whole country will be blown up. They will be wiped off the face of the earth. So, that's the only thing these tyrants understand is that they won't exist anymore. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Greenland's prime minister said the Arctic island's population and its authorities need to start preparing for a possible military invasion, even as it remains an unlikely scenario, as President Donald Trump continues to threaten taking over territory. It's not likely there will be a military conflict, but it can't be ruled out, said Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen at a press conference in Nuuk on Tuesday. Yeah, well, Trump said we're not going to he doesn't need to use military force. All right? He'll hit him in the wallet. They care more about the wallet than they do bombs going off and taking out young men and now young women. Military planners are modeling a U.S. invasion from the south, expecting American forces to overcome Canada's strategic positions on land and at sea within a week and possibly as quickly as 2 days. This is an unnamed official out of Canada. Canada does not have the number of military personnel or the sophisticated equipment needed to fend off a conventional American attack, they said. So the military envisions unconventional warfare in which armed civilians would result to ambushes, sabotages, drone warfare, or hit-and-run tactics. The aim of such tactics would be to impose mass casualties on U.S. occupying forces, the official said. Now, who's running their jaws like this? Canada's going to do all this to us. What do you think would happen to Canada? This rupture in the joint defense agreement would likely see France or Britain nuclear weapon states being called on to provide support and defense for Canada against the U.S. So somebody is stirring the pot. An unnamed official putting forth these fantastic scenarios. This is Medvedev from Russia. The overall situation is clear. Cowardly European roosters, having swallowed tranquilizers out of fear, will persuade the assertive uncle to take full custody of the island, but leave it in the formal ownership of the Danish kingdom. Do as you please, uncle. Take the island for indefinite free use. Develop its mineral resources for free, build military bases, airfields, missile silos, and any other facilities for total control, writes Medvedev, or however you say it. Wait a minute. You got to straighten out your terminology. It's not uncle. Cincinnati. But anyway, however, in his opinion, Trump needs to color the island on world maps in the Stars and Stripes color. A map has already been published, including Canada and Venezuela, and stand in line with the founding fathers. You got that right. In Medvedev's view, the price of seizing Greenland could be the elimination of NATO. This is not about kidnapping a foreign leader betrayed by his allies in a weakened country. And finally, Trump will be allowed to do this, concluded Medvedev, or however you say his name. Anyway, so this is the international responses to what's been going on. Denmark refuses to negotiate with Trump over Greenland. Danish foreign minister, we will not enter into any negotiations that compromise our fundamental principles. That's exactly what Starmer said. We're going to find out what your fundamental principles are. This is something we will never do. The mere statement about refusing to use military force is a positive step, but it doesn't solve the problem. Well, you better solve it then. Or there's going to be some economic problems in the European Union. Trump has made that clear. The Swedish military is leaving Greenland, according to a press release from the kingdom's armed forces. Remember I said they didn't get permission. They're not part of any treaty. Where's that clip I had of the Germans on a commercial flight? Here we go. There they are. Here they are at the airport, going away in coach. They didn't even use the military transport to bring them home. The information that the German military quickly left Greenland has been confirmed. They only stayed on the island for 1 day. What's even more interesting is that they didn't wait for a special flight. But the agency is still unknown. Well, it's not unknown to me. Like I said, the Danes violated their treaty. They had no business having, not part of the treaty, show up. Well, it's more than that, Kim. It's more than huff and puff. There's trillions of dollars at stake. We're talking about principalities that have ruled civilized nations for almost a millennium. Like Putin was saying, the Rus Empire. Rus Empire goes back almost 1,000 years. And you have these principalities hanging on to control. That's how we got stuck with a damn income tax. Catch this comment at the very end of this interview. Here's a young lady that said she used to be against Trump, okay? She had a mild form of TDS. Well, I think she couldn't stand him. But she's changed her tune. And who's the one interviewing her? And what does he say at the very end?
Trump was right about everything, and that's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
This breakfast conversation, our 6th visit with Betsy Sarcone, dating back to August 2023. Her shift, beyond dramatic. A DeSantis, then a Haley voter, said she would vote for Joe Biden if Trump won the Republican nomination. But she changed her mind.
I think Biden. Thing be done, for 4 years about an open border.
Now she gives Trump an A-, loves the immigration crackdown, just closed a big real estate sale, and thinks the economy is picking up. Sarcone laughed at Trump's 2020 election fraud claims when we first met. Another big change.
I'm starting to question the election of 2020, right?
He lost the election in 2020.
I don't know.
He lost the election in 2020.
The suburbs revolted against Trump in his first midterm, and Democrats are banking on it again.
You heard him say it. He lost 2020. She said, oh, I don't know. So they're still clinging to the narrative that Trump supposedly lost the election. Trump said, I don't know. Or she said, I don't know. So people got their doubts. What is this clip? It's one of the black screen clips. I'm not even sure what it is. Oh, this is some new lady reporter. But I guess this is what her clips are. We'll see if she takes off or not. But anyway, I'll go ahead and play her clip.
In Minnesota, federal ICE agents face a hostile environment. Their vehicles are being tracked and vandalized. The hotels they stay in are being threatened. Even houses of worship in the Twin Cities are apparently fair game for rabid anti-law enforcement mobs. The mayhem we saw over the weekend is already under investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice as a potential violation of federal law. One of the organizers of this disgusting display told News Nation's Mills Hayes that the episode did not go far enough and was needed. Watch.
I'm not going to focus on the nitty-gritty of, oh, this person said this and that. At the end of the day, we said what we said, we did what we did, and it needed to happen.
It needed to happen? No, it really didn't need to happen. Minnesota needs calm, not podcasters like Dom Lemon to live stream church invasions. For these agitators, the chaos is the point. They attempt to make brave federal officers into boogeymen, while the real threats to Minnesota communities come from the people being arrested and deported by the Trump administration. Let's remember why ICE is in Minnesota right now: to remove illegal aliens who have enjoyed Minnesota's sanctuary state status courtesy of Governor Walz. The rap sheets of those being arrested for speak for themselves. Over the weekend, the Department of Homeland Security announced the arrest of a dozen additional illegal aliens, all of them criminals. You're seeing them now from Romania, Venezuela, Honduras, Mexico, Cuba, and elsewhere. The crimes these men have been convicted of include fraud, assault, kidnapping, domestic violence, counterfeiting, and murder. These are dangerous people. They have been convicted of crimes. They're in the United States illegally. They have final deportation orders, and they have to go. Watch this ICE agent try to explain this to agitators disrupting their operations and warning criminals of their presence.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
Insane is right. So when you see riots or invasions of churches, remember who exactly these mobs are defending. Despite this chaos, ICE continues to carry out their mission. We should be grateful for their work to make our neighborhood.
So I'm not sure her name, but she's going to be doing segments on News Nation. So hopefully that'll attract a wider audience to News Nation. And I've got a clip here of a young man who's putting his 2 cents in about Don Lemon. So anyway, folks, I've gone way over, but I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. And I put a link in the description at the 154 mark in the chats if anybody wants to help me out with Buy Me a Coffee. And I do appreciate Wayne, Roland, Mike, and Bev, and Colette for helping out. And I hope you enjoy this clip. I really do. Let's see what's going to happen with Don Lemon. When's he going to get locked up? I think they're going to let this soak into people's heads what happened at Davos. And I think my prediction will be, remember, when I said they set the tone for the weekend with Friday events, I wouldn't be surprised if Friday morning, Don Lemon got a knock on his door, very loud, very early in the morning, before the sun comes up, just like other patriots have had done to them, although he is not a patriot. So again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. Let's hear this young man's opinion. Enjoy this clip. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Yeah, Don Lemon knew better than to go to a black church. He would have never tried that. It would have been a totally different scenario that would have happened. Totally different outcome. Because we don't play about stuff like that. You're not going to come in and you think he would have got an interview? Are you kidding me? He wouldn't have got past the aunties at the front. They would have shut that down. He's not even getting in through the front door. Yeah, we don't play that. In the name of Jesus, he wouldn't have got in. You're talking about dudes reform from the streets, giving the testimony into that situation, bro. I'm scared to have my phone on ring when I'm at church. It's just a different atmosphere, you know. I don't even want to say what would have happened that day, but a lot of righteous indignation would have went down, all down. You think he's gonna lean into a black pastor? He's gonna lean in like that, tell him, hey, don't touch me, and lean in on him with his auntie watching in the front row? You think he's gonna do that? Bro, I would pay pay-per-view. I would pay to see that. Don Lemon knew better. He would have never done that, bro. He knows. He's not dumb.